This is the special called town council meeting for Tuesday, September 21st, 2021. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance and then move right on to business.
Sorry.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We can do the roll call.
Okay. Vice Mayor Susanna Murdoch,
Here.
Councilmember Vicki Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Andrew Gardner,
Here.
Mayor Charles Pauls.
Here. Normally we have a moment of silence. It's not on the agenda. I don't know if that's by mistake or on purpose. But I thought I would take this time before the moment of silence, which apparently we're not having, but just to talk about Susan Robertson, who was a longtime town council member who passed away over the weekend. Susan was appointed to the town council, served for 8 years, was vice mayor for 6 years. She's got a beautiful tribute on the Chattanoogan, if anybody has had a chance to read it. She did really wonderful things for this town, and she worked hard. She was here all the time. Her husband, Jerry, is here, and Joey, her son, is here, and they can attest that she put her life and soul into being a town council member and doing what was best for Signal Mountain. On a personal level, she was, I didn't think I would get emotional, but she was a second mother to me. My mother died in 1998, and Susan was there and took care of me like I was her son, and I loved her, and she was a second mother to my wife, Debbie, as well, so she's going to be truly missed for many reasons. But maybe we can have a moment of silence, and I'll be thinking about Susan during that moment of silence, so we'll have a moment of silence now. Okay.
Is this an appropriate time to talk about the possibility of us doing a memorial for her?
Yeah.
I had a thought because she founded our tree board that it would be interesting to dedicate a tree in her memory.
I think that's a great idea. I don't
know
would
what
love
we
to
need
see
to
that
do
done.
to facilitate that, but
Consensus of council and
maybe,
That's a
I don't know if she had a favorite tree, but maybe we could consult with her family and
Yeah. Yeah, we'll find out.
determine a location and a.
Let's do that, if that's okay. I think everybody is in approval of that idea. Thank you for that. It's a good idea. Thank you. We'll talk to Jerry and Joey after the meeting. All right, so we don't have any minutes to approve. We do have citizens' opportunity to address council on the agenda, and I'd like to give the citizens that opportunity, but I do want to say that if your reason for addressing the council is to talk about the candidates, make sure it's positive. Let's not have any negative comments. We don't need to get up here and try to trash another candidate. If you want to come up and say something positive about the person that you were in favor of, that's fine. But if you're going to get up here and talk negative about people, then I'm going to cut you off. So I welcome comments, and obviously you can address the council about other things too, if that's on your mind. But we'll go ahead and open it up to citizens who want to address the council.
Do we have people at home that had called in? Did we open it up to that, or is it just in-person people that are going to be?
I think we normally open it up to people at home.
We don't have anybody? Oh, okay. I couldn't remember if we had talked about that.
Well, since these are broadcast live, we probably should allow people to call in, don't you think?
I'm not sure if it's allowed right now. Harry, is that? Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we can,
Okay.
maybe Harry, if you could, I don't know, we can look into seeing whether that's an option, if people do want to stay home and watch and call in.
I think it is an option.
Okay.
I think they can be given the opportunity. If the town sets it up, they can call in.
Okay. Well, let's.
The only people who couldn't
All right.
are you all.
Okay. We don't have to decide that now, but I kind of think it would be an option that we should consider to open it up for people to call in. All right, we have our first person. If you could state your name and address.
Sure. I'm Dan Landrum. I'm at 846 Kentucky Avenue. And thank you for the kind words about Susan. That's amazing what a difference a person can make in a council seat, which is one of the reasons that this decision tonight is extremely important, because it shapes decisions that get made for the town. Charlie, you mentioned not saying anything negative. That's I try to live my life in a positive manner, but if I see an obstacle in the road, you just can't be positive sometimes, you know, if there's a hole in the road. And
I don't want to hear negativity, Dan.
Charlie, let me finish, and then you determine if it's negative. I have a procedural question then, Charlie.
Okay.
If someone is a campaign manager for a council member, is it possibly inappropriate for the council member to choose that campaign manager to take a seat on the council? Because in light of trying to get citizens' voices, as you've mentioned many times, that tilts it.
The answer is no.
Are you the end of the answer?
You called me and asked me this already, just so everybody knows. Dan called me and asked me this question. So I looked at our code of ethics. I mean, you didn't mention that there's any kind of ethical violation, but you just raised the question. So I looked at our code of ethics. There's nothing in there about that. There's nothing in there. I asked Harry to look at it as well. There's nothing in state law. There is no prohibition about somebody who helped somebody on a campaign voting for that person. So the answer is no.
In your mind, the answer is no. I understand that.
The legal answer is no.
The ethical answer is not always the legal answer. Ethics and legal are different. But
there's a code of ethics, and there's nothing in the code of ethics that addresses this kind of situation. It's not unethical or improper in any way.
You've stated that. Thank you very much. We know now. I also request, would it be possible, and I'll leave if it makes you more comfortable, that the rest of the citizens' comments get moved to after those who are being voted on get a chance to speak, so that you can hear from citizens.
Now, I'm asking to hear from citizens now.
But they're not getting a say. They could get a say after those who are the candidates have a chance to speak, which seems reasonable. And that's your choice. You can do that.
We discussed that at the last meeting and came up with a process.
You didn't discuss that.
And we came up with an agenda and a flow of how we want the conversation to go. I don't think it's fair to put candidates on the spot like that.
They wouldn't talk to the candidates. They would talk to you guys.
But the answer is no. We have an agenda. We're at the point where citizens can address the council, and if anyone wants to address the council and say something about their chosen or favorite candidate, that's
as long as it's positive.
Right.
Okay. So I'll finish up.
Okay.
This absolutely is not the way I thought my term and my work for this town would end, with this kind of vitriol and this kind of shutting down of open ideas and open discussion of things. And I'm concerned for the decision that you're going to make tonight. There have been people who have had I'll take care of this on social media.
Okay, is there anyone else who wishes to address the council?
Ann Haygood, 506 James Boulevard. I'm sorry to have to follow that, but I will try to not be in that vein.
Okay.
My only request of you is that you consider demographics. So, Andrew, you ran partly on a platform of saying that the council did not represent younger families with children. If I look at the council now, that's all we have is families with children. So I would actually ask you to please consider voting for someone who represents more my demographic. My kids are grown, my grandchildren are grown. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ann. Anyone else? Okay. Selection of the candidates to fill the vacancy is next. We've discussed a procedure, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I think the first thing we were going to do is allow them to give opening statements. We were going to allow for up to 3 minutes. Of course, if you want to get up and say, 2 words and sit down, that's fine. If you want to take all 3 minutes, that's fine. It's up to you, the candidates, to decide that. I will start. I don't know who the candidates are, actually, but I'll start on this side. Whoever is, I'll just go left to right. So I know that I see an unfamiliar face right there, so I'm assuming you might be a candidate. All right, so if you could stand up and tell us your name, maybe come to the podium and you can give your opening statement.
My name is Clay Crumblis, 313 Arrow Drive. Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening and for your consideration of my application to fill the vacancy on the town council. If I may briefly introduce myself, my wife Rachel and I bought our home on Signal Mountain earlier this year after living in New York City for the last 9 years. I grew up in the Chattanooga area, including on Signal Mountain when I was in high school, and my family has a long history here. While I am a relatively new resident, I'm eager to get involved in a civic role where I can leverage my personal and professional experience to help make Signal Mountain an even more wonderful place to live and raise a family. In particular, given my professional background as an investment banker and equity research analyst, I believe I bring a deep expertise in finance, accounting, and strategy that would allow me to quickly add value to the council as the town contemplates budget deficits and other financial decisions. As I mentioned in my responses to citizens' questions, I think the first crucial step is reassessing the expense side of the budget with a semi-zero-based departmental approach. Then once the expenditures have been right-sized, we could consider more creative forms of revenue generation aside from simply raising property taxes again. In addition, the town must continue to honor the land use plan, ensure that we are promoting growth without overburdening our infrastructure, and protect our natural environment when considering any development decisions that are made in the future. I'll close by again acknowledging that it's true that we have only been part of the Signal Mountain community for a short time, but I think a newer perspective with fresh eyes on complex issues could benefit the town greatly. I reiterate that Signal Mountain is where we plan to invest and put down permanent roots. We've already met so many wonderful families at a recent neighborhood popsicle block party on Arrow Drive and at the Lions Club Labor Day picnic, and we're excited to continue meeting new people and engaging in the community. Thank you again for your consideration, and I look forward to working with all of you in one way or another in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Crumblis.
Thank you.
Next gentleman in the red shirt, I think that might be a candidate.
Thank you, Mayor Poss. I'm Tim Cleary, live 505 North Palisades. My wife and I moved here 14 years ago, and the town has been wonderful to us. We've loved it here. I'm at a point in my life where I have the time and the experience and knowledge that I want to give back to the community. I want to serve the city, serve the citizens. My wife is a teacher at Nolan, and what she has seen there, what she has encountered, what we've seen as we've lived here, says this is a fantastic town. It has more going for it than a lot of people realize. We want to keep that unique feel that we have here continued. We've been blessed with a wonderful council for years up here that have done marvels for the city. I want to be a part of that. No other, anything behind the scenes. I just want to help the town. I want to help you all and be a part of it. So I've got, well over 40 years of working for public utilities. I understand how the town needs to work, what has to be done, the maintenance, all the organizations, so I can add value there. So if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out that I'm selected, that's okay too. I'm still part of the community, and I will be involved. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, gentleman in the back.
Actually, I didn't have anything prepared because I didn't know there was going to be opening statements, but
Well, you
my
can wing
name's
it.
Robert Taylor, and I reside at 169 Woodcliff Circle, and I've been a resident of Signal Mountain for approximately 20 years now, transplant from Florida. But what was unique with Signal Mountain is I do have a younger brother who had a friend in college who grew up here. So when I was looking for a job transplanting from Florida into Chattanooga area with Unum is how I got here for work, he had suggested, Signal Mountain. And he definitely hit the nail on the head. It's a great community. I grew up similar in a small town in Florida, very similar in nature, not a big city or town. So at this time in my life, kids are now in college off going. I figured, well, it's a good time to get involved with an opportunity giving back to the community such as this. So I saw this opportunity, therefore I applied. Other than that, my background has been as a software engineer. So I look at things very logically and straightforward and try and come up with the most efficient or optimal type solution. So I thought, oh, this would be a good opportunity to apply those skills to something other than developing software. So other than that, that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I don't see John Foreman here. Did he mention that he wouldn't be here to anyone?
I didn't hear one way or the other from him
Okay.
about it.
I just thought I'd ask that. Ms. Baker.
Elizabeth Baker, 1 Carriage Hill. I want to thank you guys for this opportunity to address you. And I think I'm last, and I am honored to be amongst everybody here listening to the gentleman speak. Signal Mountain's a very lucky town, I think. Anyway, so my dad used to have a saying, and he drilled it into us forever. And he always said, you're only going to be guaranteed your head, your hearts, and your hands. And it's with that you make change. And the lessons continued about, it didn't matter the money you had, it mattered the commitment you made to your community. We were often told, see a need, fill the need. It was our responsibility to get the knowledge to help our community in any way we could growing up. And I've been very fortunate that my entire adult life has been committed to those principles. And kind of standing right where I am now, not necessarily in Signal Mountain, but in front of many municipal, county, and even state governments, advocating for meaningful stakeholder engagement. proactive policymaking when it came to taxes and really advocating at a state level that locally generated taxes need to go for local decisions. I've spent the past almost 21 years of my life doing that. And so when this opportunity came up, I thought long and hard first because I am comfortable here. But then I also think maybe it's time that I make that change and ask to be seated up there. So in just a bit here, you guys are going to be voting for one of us applicants. And I think my background in the stakeholder engagement, in public policy, in research and analytics data to show impact of public policy will be an asset. And that's why I ask you today, when you go ahead and get those ballots out, allow me the privilege to work with you to help move Signal Mountain forward into even a better place if that's possible. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you. All right, so Mr. Foreman is not here. I don't know if that means he should be off the ballot, or we keep him on the ballot and just vote.
I don't think he should be removed from the
Okay.
ballot.
Yeah,
All right. You don't have to be present to win, is the answer to that question. Okay. All right, I think we appreciate you all for giving your opening statements. And I will just say to all of you, I appreciate you putting yourself out there. And only one person's going to be picked tonight, but all of you have shown an interest and a willingness to serve the community, and I hope that you continue to do that in other ways if you're not the one that's ultimately chosen. So thank you for all the the applications, the answering the questions, and all the work you've put into it this far. So I think our next plan was to just do a vote and see if we had a consensus, and then talk about it from there. Is that correct?
I think we have 5 applicants, so we were going to narrow to 3. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just want to echo that, is that 5 applicants, and we're very fortunate. I feel like very, very difficult decision, because as I look at our makeup currently, every single one of the 5 fills some kind of need or hole or expertise that we don't have that we could really use. So what I'd say is run in November if you don't get selected tonight.
and I mean, we have so many boards and committees that need good
Need it.
people. We can always use that kind of enthusiasm on them, so.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have ballots?
We do.
All right.
One thing I was asking Harry, we weren't clear on in the process of narrowing it to the 3, if you each will vote for 3 on this ballot without ranking, just simply vote for 3, and then we see where that gets us. Is that the intent?
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. We'll do that.
With that, if you would, just vote for 3, sign it, and hold it until everyone's through, and then we'll get them back down here.
Okay. While they're
Please.
passing it out, I also want to thank you guys for taking the time to fill out the applications, to answer our questions. That takes time on your part, and well thought out answers on everyone's behalf. Great writing. There's the teacher in me, everything. You guys did a great job, so thank you.
So we hold on to it?
Until everyone's through, and then you can send them back down. Thank you. I'll let you mark that. Okay. And these will all be attached and available with the minutes, so they'll be public record. So with that, we have Elizabeth Baker, Timothy Cleary, and Clay Crumbliss as the top three. So with that, you now want to vote for a single candidate?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have Elizabeth Baker, Clay Crumbliss, Elizabeth Baker, and Elizabeth Baker.
All right. I think the voting is the majority of the town council members. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we have a majority on the first run through. Ms. Baker, you've received the majority. Thank you. To all the other candidates, thank you for applying. And again, we hope that you'll continue to be involved in some way. And this is an appointed term, so it will be over there will be an election next November, not this November, so that if you wanted to run again, it's only a year away. So thank you all. Now, at this point, we don't have any resolutions or ordinances. I vote to suspend the remainder of the agenda and adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations,